police, Longueuil in particular. He's decided to create this organization, and so he's a victor par excellence, Monsieur Joël DeBellefeuille.
Bonjour tout le monde. Good morning, everyone. Again, thanks for that nice intro. I appreciate you all for being here this morning. As Alain said, my name is Joël DeBellefeuille. I'm the founder and executive director of the Red Coalition. On behalf of the organization, I would like to thank members of the media, community leaders, advocates, elected officials, and most importantly, the individuals who have had the courage to come here today to share their experiences. So I'd like to give them a round of applause. The Red Coalition is a national, non-profit organization dedicated to assisting victims of discrimination in all its forms. Every day we work with individuals and families who believe they've been treated unfairly because of the color of their skin, their ethnic background, their religion, their language, their disability, or another protected ground under the law. For many of us, the events that have recently come to light involving officers assigned to SPVM Station 39 were deeply disturbing. But for many members of racialized communities, particularly Black communities, the allegations were not necessarily surprising. Because the concerns being discussed publicly today are concerns that many people, all of us, have been raising for years. Concerns about racial profiling, concerns about unequal treatment, concerns about street sex, concerns about being viewed with suspicion, and not because of what they did, but because of who they are and what they look like. For decades, individuals across Quebec have reported being stopped, questioned, documented, searched, followed, or treated differently because of the color of their skin. Not because they've committed a crime, not because they've posed a threat, but because of their race. These experiences are not limited to one neighborhood, and they're not limited to one police station, and they're certainly not limited to Montreal. These stories come from communities across Quebec. Today we're here because people deserve to be heard. Not statistics, not reports, not headlines. People, human beings, families, residents, and citizens. People who have lived these experiences. People who've carried these experiences for years. People who are tired of feeling invisible. Since these allegations became public, the Red Coalition has taken action. As Mr. Babineau said, we filed complaints with the Commission des Droits de la Personne et de la Jeunesse. We've also filed complaints through Quebec's police ethics process, resulting in less than 24 hours, they opened a file. We've met with victims, we've collected testimony, and we've continued doing what we've always done, standing alongside those who feel they have no voice. But let me be clear, this is not about being anti-police. This is about accountability. This is about transparency. This is about ensuring that every person in Quebec receives equal treatment and equal protection under the law. Public trust is one of the most important foundations of policing, and trust cannot exist without accountability. Trust cannot exist without transparency, and trust cannot exist if members of the public believe they're being treated differently because of the color of their skin. Today is not about assigning guilt. Investigations are ongoing, and those processes must be respected. But today is about acknowledging something equally important, that the lived experiences of community members matter. The victims deserve to be heard, and no one should be afraid to speak about what they've experienced. The stories you'll hear today are not political. They're personal, they're real, and they're often very painful. For many of the individuals speaking today, sharing experiences publicly takes tremendous courage. I want to applaud that again. want to personally thank each and every one of them for their willingness to stand here today and speak their truth. Because change begins when people are willing to listen. And change becomes possible when people are no longer afraid to speak. Today, we're giving space to those voices. Today, we're listening. And today, we're standing together in the hope that future generations will not have to share these same stories. Thank you. I'm going to switch things up a little bit. Before I stand here as the founder and executive director of the Red Coalition, I stand before you as someone who personally experienced racial profiling. My story began in 2009, 17 years ago. One evening, my family and I had spent the day on the South Shore. On our way home, we decided to stop at Dairy Queen. As we were driving through Longueuil, a police vehicle passed us traveling in the opposite direction. As our vehicles crossed paths, I noticed the driver glanced directly at me. Moments later, after reaching the intersection we had just passed, the police vehicle made a U-turn. At first, an older pickup truck separated us. Then that vehicle turned off, leaving the police car directly behind me. Many people, including these victims, know the feeling. When a police car vehicle begins following closely behind you, you instinctively check everything. Your speed, your signals, your registration, your license. You grip the steering wheel a little tighter and hope you've done nothing wrong. I certainly had done nothing wrong. I turned onto a street near Dairy Queen. I activated my turn signal. Within seconds, the police lights came on. I immediately pulled over. Before the officers even exited their vehicle, I was already standing at the rear of my car. The first thing the officer said to me was not that I had committed an offense. Instead, he sarcastically said, "Hey guy, is this your car?" Inside the vehicle were my wife, my stepdaughter, niece, and our family dog. No one had committed a crime. No one was smoking. As they said that somebody in the vehicle had thrown a cigarette butt through the sunroof. No one was causing trouble. Yet, I was being treated as though I needed to justify why I was driving my own vehicle. I later fault the resulting tickets in the report. When I obtained the police report, I read something that changed my life forever and boiled my blood extremely when I was there. The report stated that the officers had observed a black man driving a black BMW. After checking the license plate, they saw that the registered owner was DeBellefeuille Joël. According to the officer, that surname did not appear to belong to a black person. The report went on to state, in their experience, black people normally had surnames such as Pierre or Joseph. In other words, I attracted police attention not because of what I had done, but because of who they believed I was and the vehicle that I drove. I fought that case for 2.5 years and I ultimately won. But unfortunately, the story did not end there. In March 2012, while bringing my young son, who's in the audience today, to daycare with my wife and niece, another police officer saw me at an intersection on the South Shore. I looked at my wife and I said, "I bet you $100 that the officer's going to make a U-turn and follow us." He did. I was in another, different BMW. I knew exactly what was happening because I had lived it before. That stop eventually led to a legal battle that lasted 8 years. On November 17th, 2022, that case was resolved. The city of Longueuil agreed to a settlement, that included measures requiring race-based data and training on racial profiling. The case became known as DeBellefeuille versus Longueuil. Today, it's cited across Canada with over 230 jurisprudences and case laws in multiple cases. I believe in even some of these gentlemen on the stage right now. I share this story today because what happened to me is not unique. The people who are speaking here today are not isolated cases. The allegations that have emerged from Montreal North did not occur in a vacuum. For years, people across Quebec have spoken about racial profiling, unequal treatment, and being viewed as suspicious simply because of the color of their skin and the car that they drive. Many were ignored, many were dismissed, many were told they're imagining it. Today, those voices are being heard. And today, I stand not only as an advocate, but as someone who understands exactly what it feels like to be stopped, questioned, and judged because of your race or your last name. That's why the fight matters. That's why accountability matters. And that's why we must continue forward toward a future where no one's treated differently because of the color of their skin. Thank you.